There are moments in life when love feels quiet, almost invisible, moments when the heart chooses to stay, even when the world says it would be easier to walk away. Real love isn't always loud, it doesn't always demand attention. Sometimes it simply waits. Tonight, I want to talk about a kind of love that doesn't give up, a love that stays through misunderstandings, through silence, through distance, even through pain. The kind of love that keeps believing in someone, even when that someone can't yet see it. Because loving someone deeply means seeing their soul, their fears, their broken pieces, the parts they try to hide from the world, and still choosing them, still standing there with patience in your heart. This is the story of a love that refused to disappear, a love that stayed strong in the quiet moments, a love that whispered the same promise again and again. My love, one day you will realize why I never gave up on you. Maybe today it feels confusing. Maybe today it feels like the effort, the patience, the endless belief doesn't matter. But real love isn't about today's doubts. It's about tomorrow's understanding. And when that day finally comes, when the truth of that love becomes clear, you'll understand something beautiful. Some people leave when things get difficult, but the rare ones, the real ones, they stay. The truth is, loving someone deeply is not always easy. People think love is only about the beautiful moments, the laughter, the late night conversations, the warmth of someone's presence beside you. They imagine love as something simple, something that flows naturally without struggle. But real love, the kind of love that reaches the deepest parts of your soul, it's different. It's quiet sometimes, it's patient, and sometimes it hurts more than anything else in the world. I remember the first moment I realized what you meant to me. It wasn't some dramatic scene. The world didn't stop spinning. There were no fireworks in the sky. It was something simpler than that, but somehow more powerful. It was the way you existed in my thoughts, even when you weren't there. The way a single memory of you could make the entire day feel lighter, the way your happiness felt more important to me than my own. That's when I understood something I had never fully understood before. Love isn't about possession, it's about devotion. And devotion means staying, not only during the easy days, but during the confusing ones, during the moments when nothing makes sense, during the moments when the person you love doesn't even realize how much they mean to you. There were days when you looked at me and didn't see the depth of what I was feeling. Days when my silence carried more emotion than 1,000 words, but you couldn't hear it yet. And that's okay, because love isn't about being understood immediately. Love is about patience. I never loved you because I expected something in return. I loved you because something inside my heart recognized something beautiful inside yours, even when you were unsure of yourself, even when you doubted your own worth, even when the world made you believe you weren't enough. I saw you, not the version of you that everyone else saw, not the mask you wore to protect yourself. I saw the real you, the quiet strength in your heart, the kindness you tried to hide, the softness you were afraid to show. And once you truly see someone like that, you can't simply walk away, because walking away would mean abandoning something real. And real things are rare. There were moments when people asked me why I stayed. They didn't understand. They saw the distance. They saw the silence. They saw the uncertainty. And they thought staying meant weakness. But they were wrong. Staying isn't weakness. Staying is one of the strongest things a person can ever do. It means choosing someone again and again, even when life becomes complicated, even when emotions become messy, even when the future feels unclear. Because when love is real, it doesn't disappear just because things become difficult. Real love doesn't run away from storms. It stands in the rain. There were nights when I wondered if you would ever truly understand what you meant to me. Nights when the world felt quiet and heavy at the same time. But even in those moments, something inside my heart refused to give up. Not because I was stubborn, not because I was desperate, but because love, real love, has a strange kind of faith. It believes in the future even when the present feels uncertain. You may not have realized it, but every time you doubted yourself, I was there believing in you. Every time you felt lost, I saw the path you were still capable of walking. Every time you thought you were too broken to be loved, my heart quietly reminded me that broken things can still be beautiful, sometimes even more beautiful than the ones that appear perfect, because the cracks tell a story. And your story mattered to me more than you probably ever realized. There were moments when you pulled away, moments when fear built walls between us. I saw those walls, but I also saw the reason they existed. Pain teaches people to protect themselves. Disappointment teaches people to hide their hearts. So I never blamed you for being cautious. I never blamed you for being unsure, because love isn't about forcing someone to open their heart. Love is about standing nearby long enough for them to feel safe doing it on their own. I stayed because I believed that one day you would see what I saw, not perfection, but something far more meaningful, a soul worth fighting for, a heart worth protecting, a person worth loving, even when the world, wife, D feels heavy. Sometimes love looks like patience. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like simply being there, even when your presence goes unnoticed. But presence matters more than people realize, because one day when life becomes overwhelming and the noise of the world grows too loud, people remember who stayed. They remember who didn't disappear when things became complicated. They remember the quiet loyalty that asked for nothing but gave everything. And that's the kind of love I chose. Not the kind that burns brightly for a moment and then fades, but the kind that stays steady like a quiet light in the distance. Maybe you didn't see it back then. Maybe you couldn't understand it yet. But love doesn't measure its worth by immediate recognition. It measures its worth by truth. And the truth was simple. You mattered to me more than pride, more than convenience, more than the easy path of walking away. Every time the world gave me a reason to leave, my heart gave me a stronger reason to stay. Not because everything was perfect, but because you were real. And real people are worth fighting for, even when they don't realize it yet, even when they're still learning how to believe in love again, even when their past tells them that trusting someone is dangerous. I understood that fear, because life teaches people to be careful with their hearts, but love teaches something different. Love teaches courage, the courage to stay, the courage to care deeply about someone even when there are no guarantees, the courage to believe that connection is stronger than doubt. You may not have noticed the quiet ways I tried to protect your heart, the moments when I chose patience instead of frustration, the moments when I listened instead of trying to be understood. But those moments mattered to me, because loving you was never about proving something. It was about honoring something, honoring the feeling that told me you were someone special in this world, someone whose presence made life a little warmer, someone whose smile could change the entire atmosphere of a room, someone whose pain deserved compassion instead of judgment. So I stayed through the confusion, through the distance, through the quiet moments when love felt invisible. And maybe one day, when time gives you a new perspective, you'll look back and realize something that wasn't obvious before. You'll realize that not everyone walks away when things become uncertain. Not everyone gives up when love requires patience. Some people stay, not because they have to, but because their heart refuses to abandon something meaningful. And when that realization finally arrives, it will bring with it a quiet understanding. You'll see that the love you once questioned was never fragile. It was simply waiting for the moment when you were ready to see it clearly. You'll remember the moments that seemed small at the time, the quiet support, the gentle presence, the patience that never demanded recognition, and slowly, piece by piece, the truth will become impossible to ignore. Love isn't proven through grand gestures alone. Sometimes it's proven through endurance, through the quiet decision to remain when leaving would have been easier, through the simple promise a heart makes without ever speaking it out loud. I'm still here, not because I needed you to see it immediately, but because love that is real doesn't disappear just because it goes unnoticed for a while. It waits, it believes, it stays, and somewhere deep inside my heart, I always believed That one day when life gives you enough time to reflect, you will understand why I never gave up on you. The day you finally understand, it won't come with fanfare or grand announcements. It will arrive quietly, almost subtly, like a soft wind brushing against your face after a long, restless night. That day will come not because I forced it to, not because I demanded it, but because love has a way of revealing itself when hearts are ready to truly see. You might be standing somewhere familiar, maybe even doing something ordinary when suddenly it hits you, not as a revelation shouted by the world, but as a gentle, undeniable truth settling in your soul. You will remember the countless moments when I was there, often unseen, unnoticed, sometimes even misunderstood. You will remember the times when the world seemed to push us apart, when circumstances tested the boundaries of what was possible, and yet somehow I stayed. It won't be about the grand gestures. It won't be about the flowers or the words written in letters or even the promises spoken aloud. No, it will be about all the quiet, unseen moments, the times I stood by you when life felt unbearable, when you thought you were alone, the times I held my tongue so as not to hurt you, the times I held your heart as if it were fragile glass, knowing one wrong move could shatter it, the moments I believed in you even when you doubted yourself. And in that day of realization, you will understand the essence of what it means to love someone fully, not the fleeting excitement, not the thrill of romance, not the easy laughter shared in sunlight, but the enduring, patient, unwavering presence of a heart that refuses to leave even when the path is uncertain. You will see that love is not measured in convenience or comfort, but in the courage to remain when leaving would have been far simpler, easier, less painful. That day, you will reflect on all the nights when you felt overwhelmed, all the moments when the world felt cold and unyielding, and you'll suddenly notice how my presence never wavered, how I never gave up, even when it seemed like hope was fading. You'll recall the words I never said, the hugs I withheld because you weren't ready for them, the space I gave you so you could breathe, so you could grow, so you could find yourself without pressure. You'll realize all of that was love, real, patient, enduring love. You will understand that I never stayed out of stubbornness. I never lingered because I was afraid of losing you. I stayed because love is a choice that transcends fear, a choice that does not depend on recognition, a choice that honors someone's existence and their journey, even when it requires sacrifice. You will see that the quiet loyalty, the invisible patience, and the unwavering support were not acts of duty. They were acts of devotion, acts of reverence for the person you are, for the soul you carry, for the essence that made me see something in you that others may have overlooked. The day you finally understand will bring with it a soft clarity. You will remember the times when I smiled through the pain of watching you struggle. You'll remember the countless moments when I chose to listen instead of speaking, when I chose to trust instead of judging, when I chose to love without expectation, without conditions, without needing anything in return. And in that moment, your heart will catch up with what your mind has always felt, but couldn't quite grasp the depth, the constancy, the unshakable truth of my love. You may even feel a bittersweet ache, realizing that the understanding came after so much silence, after so many moments of uncertainty, after all the times you didn't see it. And that ache is natural. It is the weight of truth finally landing in a place ready to hold it. You will feel the intensity of all the emotions I carried quietly, all the prayers I whispered for your happiness, all the invisible battles I fought to keep faith alive when circumstances tried to break us. And in that ache, you will find gratitude, tenderness, and a deep, quiet love for what we shared. The kind of love that is unspoken but profound, invisible but undeniable. You will understand that love is not measured by how fast it is recognized or how loudly it is proclaimed. Love is measured by the courage to wait, by the strength to endure, by the devotion to remain, even when the world offers reasons to leave. That day, You will finally see what I have carried in my heart all along, a truth that never wavered, a commitment that never faltered, a love that never for a single moment considered walking away. And when that day comes, you will realize something even deeper. You will understand that I never gave up on you, not because you needed saving, but because I saw your worth even when you couldn't see it yourself. You will understand that my persistence was never about proving a point. It was about honoring a soul that touched mine in ways I could never fully describe. You will see that love, in its purest form, is selfless, patient, quiet, and enduring. And it is in that understanding that the fullness of what we shared will finally make sense. You will realize that real love does not always arrive in the way the world expects. It doesn't demand, it doesn't insist, it doesn't shout. It simply waits quietly, faithfully, with the strength of oceans and the patience of time itself. And when your heart finally aligns with that truth, you will feel it, the recognition, the clarity, the profound beauty of a love that never gave up, a love that stood steadfast through storms, a love that chose you in ways too quiet to notice at first, yet too powerful to ever forget. That day, you will finally understand why I stayed, why I waited, why I never let go. You will see that every small choice, every quiet moment, every act of patience was a thread weaving a tapestry of devotion that only time could reveal. And in that understanding, you will feel something both humbling and uplifting, the undeniable proof that some love is meant not just to be felt, but to be realized. And some hearts are meant to stay, no matter the storms, until the day understanding arrives.